that unearth the stories behind the news. And we have our light moments too by chit-chatting about issues that affect our day-to-day life. Stay right here on the Sundown. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, Your Eye on South Sudan. The Sundown. For the news, views, opinion, debates, and discussions. Listen to Who is Who, talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, Your Eye on South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Madrama James. Today is Tuesday, the 10th of June 2025. Today we are going to focus on a new opportunity to boost innovation in South Sudan food sector. The WFP or World Food Program, in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, AfriLabs and Seed Grow Company Limited has launched the Ignite Food System Innovation Challenge 2025. This initiative aims to support micro, small, and medium enterprises working to improve how food is grown, processed, and delivered. It also addresses climate challenges and support economic development. Selected businesses will receive small grants, training, mentorship, and access to network of investors and policymakers. The program encourages women, persons with a disability, and other marginalized groups to apply. To help us understand this opportunity and how it impacts, we are joined live in the studio by Foni Sarah, Seed Grow Company Limited, not forgetting Dr. Ayik Quir, WFP, Monica Lomoy, WFP, then Tito Awienbol, Ignite Focus, a focal person, Ministry of Agriculture. Welcome all to the studios of iRadio this afternoon.
Thank you.
First, I would like to get you on board, Tito Awienbol, as a focal person to this discussion. I know all of you are here, my key speakers, but briefly introduce the Ignite Challenge and its objective as we kickstart the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Presenter, and iRadio, and also our listeners across the country. Ignite Challenge is a project that had been launched this year, and it is not the first kind, but a second phase of its kind. Ignite Food System Innovation Challenge 2025 is a collaborative kind of initiative by WFP or World Food Program implemented in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, AfriLabs, and Seed Grow Company. This is a project that is funded by DANIDA, which is the donor. These projects mostly aim to identify, support, and also to scale the innovative solutions that can strengthen food system in South Sudan, especially to empower the entrepreneurs, but not just entrepreneurs, but agripreneurs, those that are specifically engaged in agricultural activities, so that at least their innovative skills in agriculture should be supported, and for them to support the food system for the country of South Sudan to get food secure.
Thank you very much. Now talking about that micro, small, and medium enterprises, let me get Foni Sarah on board. Why is this initiative important for South Sudan at the moment? Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good evening. So this initiative is a great way of how we can address some of the food insecurity challenges. And it comes at a time whereby we are working towards addressing some of the gaps that are created within the food security sector, within the food systems, within agriculture. So as such, we are using this opportunity to also boost the micro, small and medium enterprises operating in the agriculture sector, in the sectors of either value chain analysis, in aspects of maybe poultry, and all the other initiatives that come along to address some of the food insecurity challenges, issues to do with food wastage, issues to do with climate-related challenges, and all the opportunities that are there. So this is an initiative that is there to look at innovations that are there to address all those gaps, and looking at it from an angle of agripreneurs who are mainly profit-making enterprises and not more like a humanitarian kind of assistance. So that is what I can say.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Briefly, you can also just repeat what you said in Arabic, more social Arabic, bitana ta konyo konyo, ashan nisa, albarogad bitabi barnamij de bagder fahim. Shukran.
So barnamij de tabile nasal fi sekta tazira, lakin nasal bikun bamul shukulatal beside us and asan hilu mashakil ta akila shwaya fi dakil belede sanna bainu nasal tajirin fi hajat azira ze nas farmers nas muzarin anna kaman bainu nasal bikun biamulu hajat ze nas bikun biain wara gidedat poultry anna kaman bainu bikun nasal fi processing ze kelim bikun nasal bikun in the fishing sector nasta samagal bi amulu processing asan kefumon bi add value fi hajat ze albija min zira. So haja lana bagder zidu fidakia. Shukran.
Naam, fursa kaman wadila naso shenkemon bigedi mawraq bitomon wa hal zol bishiluke fi naya bita wraq del. How do you really apply, just in summary?
Okay. So application de fill link anna post fi NGO forum ita bag the rhino advert denak, so link te finak ita bag the apply online okulu fi Microsoft Word, so ita bi dakalu details taki de kulu montegriban hamsta wile 44 swalat albes very brief ita bag the kut information taki ita tab tabamli atulonta shukul wita fi atu sekta tazira wa itabihilu ya tumushkila. So what is the innovation what food insecurity challenge are you addressing through your innovation? Yeah, and then a brief pitch also, so you can get that link, and you can also get it on the SeedGrow website, the AfriLabs website, and then we also have those contacts that are also posted on the same advert, in which you can always either send an email or make a call in case you seek any clarity or inquiries. We are always open like 247, so any time of the day.
Thank you. Over to Dictor, that's Ayik Queer. The WHO, Ministry of Health, then we talked of AfriLabs and SeedGrow are in partnership with the organization. Tell us, what kind of role do you play to make sure that this initiative is also realized? Welcome.
Thank you, James. Just to put it briefly, is that malnutrition is one major thing that we are dealing in this particular era, and the reason behind the malnutrition is related to the food insecurity in the country, where we have about 7.1 million people in South Sudan that are food insecure. And this food insecurity comes as a result of low productions, poor service loss, among others that are coming in. And for us to be able to address these gaps, which has created a huge humanitarian dependency, we need to be able to first look at innovators that are coming in the form of the micro mediums enterprise, and this micro small medium enterprise will be able to come with innovations that are pivotal to addressing the root cause of malnutrition, and that in the form of coming up with innovation that address the food insecurity. It can be in the processing, which we are having quite a number of things. Fish is one of it. We have vegetables, we have poultry, we have many more. So if we are able to produce locally, it will impact the level of food that we are consuming. And therefore, when we have a nutritious food that are locally produced, locally processed, locally transported or distributed, we are able to provide adequate food that is dietary diverse in nature. And all these will be able to resolve into, and that what the Ignite bring in a state of depending on the humanitarian alone. We are looking at the ventures that can be able to bring in innovation from the sector so that there is food circulation in the market, so that if I have my pounds at hand and if food is locally produced with the local innovation to the context, we are able to address these particular challenges and have amicable innovation that are locally oriented, that foster the culture of innovation among the South Sudanese businessmen, donors, and is supported by this particular program. So this is what we are looking at as WP to be able to bring, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and bridging that gaps. Not only the humanitarian, we can also look at who are bringing from the actors that can be able to boost the food production, processing, distribution, and as well as reducing the post-harvest losses.
All right. Thank you. In this very discussion, the gender is balanced, and I'm glad to also have that's Monica Lomoy from that's WFP. Briefly, you can also tell us any add-on points from what your colleague Dr. Ayik just mentioned earlier on. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. One, I want to add that you can still reach out to any WFP field office if you need more information about the Ignite Food System Challenge for guidance. And the WFP field offices work in collaboration with the seed grower. And if you don't get seed grow on ground, you can get WFP, and they will be able to guide you, any field office. And they will be able to guide you, and even how to apply, where to submit, and more information about the current ongoing. Yes. And then in South Sudan, we are faced with food insecurity, I may say, food shortage. And this looks, the Ignite is trying to bring in engagement from the private sector. We know WFP as a distribution wing for food, but it goes beyond that, and that's why it's looking at the private sector. What innovations are they bringing that maybe we might not be having, but to boost on the food security of the country? That's why the innovation we are looking from the private sector, and how we can work together to boost the food security of this country.
Well, let's briefly talk about the documentation of this process. Tito, what documents are required for applicants to submit, and how should application be submitted? Because people have this perception like every process in South Sudan there is a corruption and connection, all those. Now, how is this process transparent? Welcome on board.
Yeah, thank you once again. First, before I give it generally in form of criteria, I first want to talk about that issue of application. Yes, people have lost actually trust in many processes before And this might be the reason why we want to have this talk show, so that people could understand this is real. If they get it on NGOs forum or on WFP forum or Seed Grow, they could follow it and trust that it is right. So application is purely online. There is no manipulation. If one goes to the NGOs forum, you will get the link. Then you fill it by yourself without assistance from anywhere, without interference or manipulation from anywhere. Then there is handle for submitting. So that one is showing that the whole process is quite transparent. At a later step, if there is any inquiry someone want to do, will follow it up like Monica have said before. So there is no issue that could be actually thought that maybe there is manipulation. So coming to the documents that are required, let me put it in context generally in form of eligibility criteria. If someone want to apply, an organization or a company should be legally registered and operational in South Sudan, and it would have been operational for the last 2 years, maybe from 2024, 2025, collectively for the last 2 years. Again, such agripreneurial company should have been operating in agricultural or food system related kind of operation or activities. Mostly it should be engaged in crop production, livestock, agricultural technology or agro-processing, food distribution, climate smart farming, or post-harvest handling and management. Such areas or such activities could be one of the main things. Again, that company should show financial and operational capacity, that they have capacity to manage the fund that can be allocated to them. As well, they should be also showing a scalable, innovative business model, which should have potential to expand, at least to solve food insecurity in the country and also climate-related challenges. As well, they have to demonstrate strong contributions to climate resilience and food security, including practical practices, agricultural practices, such as sustainable farming or water conservation, because we are in the era of climate change, of which such innovation could be very important. Applicant should also demonstrate or commit to gender equality, youth inclusion, collaboration with local communities. Generally, they should have registration certificates, because as a company in the country, if you are registered, you always have this certificate from Ministry of Justice. You should also have operationalization license. Such document that can legalize the company are expected to be with that company. So generally, those are the main requirements.
All right. Dear listener, if in case you have just joined us, you are listening to the Sundown Show. As per now, let's head out for that's our first commercial break. When we come back, that's when we shall take a look at where are some of these applicants or areas that are targeted, why, after this commercial break.
هل أنت جنوبي وعندك مشروع شغال في الزراعة أو أنظمة الأكل؟ برنامج الأغذية العالمي WFP مع وزارة الزراعة وشركائه أفريلابس والسيد جرو كامباني ليميتد بيدعوكم عشان تقدموا في تحدي الابتكار في أنظمة الغذاء إجنايت 2025. ده فرصتك عشان تكسب منحة بيصل ل$40,000 وتلقى تدريب وتوجيه من خبراء، وكمان تتواصل مع مستثمرين والصناع بتاع القرار. لو الشركة بتاعك مسجل رسمي وشغال أكثر من 2 سنين وعندك تأثير حقيقي في تحقيق الأمن الغذائي أو مجابهة تغيير المناخ، التقديم ده ليك. النسوان والأشخاص ذو الإعاقة والمجتمعات المحمشة مرحب بكم جدا للتقديم. قدم حسي عبر الرابط ده www.bit.ly/SUGGROW. www.ignite-challenge. رسل مستنداتك كله عن طريق رابط درايف قابل للمشاركة عشان حماية البيانات. آخر يوم للتقديم يوم 13 شهر 6 2025. للاستفسار يتصل على 0922 107667 أو 0920 788816. الإعلان منشور كمان في مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي WFP, AfriLabs وسيد جرو كمباني ليميتد.
Well, dear listener, welcome back from our first commercial break. Like I said earlier on, when we bounce back, that's when we shall be getting more information on how some of these innovators will apply and the targeted location for this project and why that particular location. I'm blessed to invite once again, that's Dr. Ayik to explain more on this. Welcome on board.
Thank you, James. Just to put across is why we have chosen the location that we have put and not the 10 state and 3 administrative area, is that WAP offer quite a number of projects across the country, and there are specific locations that where we are implementing the agri projects that are supporting the smallholder farmers across those states that have been mentioned at the application site. This is to ensure that the smallholder farmers that we are training, we also linking to the markets, have the opportunity to be able to use the same cooperative that they have registered in those locations to be able to bring in innovations to support the agricultural sector. And that is one of the major things that we are looking at. We are harnessing the innovation from those areas that we have existing projects currently. So that is one of the major things that we are looking at. And such areas are such as the equatorial regions, the Barrel Gaza regions, and some parts of the Greater Upper Nile that include the Jonglei states. So that is what we are looking for. So we are looking at where we are having a current presence with the existing smallholder farmers' activities that can be able to easily catch up with the production and the processing.
Monica, what innovations are you looking specifically in these areas? Because you are giving the chance for innovators to apply in, but what kind of innovations are you directly looking at?
Okay, the innovation first, we are looking into the food systems, and food systems is broad. It's from production, processing, distribution, and you can have it to the last consumer. So any innovation that is put along the food systems, it can be in livestock, it can be in fisheries, it can be in crop production, it can be in even right to fruit production, because now we are looking at climate resilience agriculture. So innovation in the food system is what we are looking at. I know there are a lot of innovation outside of the food systems, but then is it related to the food systems? We are focusing on food systems because somehow it's also where WFP is much more flexible. And to add on Ayik's, why we chose some of these particular areas, as he said, the small holders agricultural market support program, mainly it's not food distribution. We have been working with farmers who have been actively engaged. Is it that why are we targeting these areas? We also want to provide opportunities. Some of these areas are too remote, and yet they are processors. The processors can be in Juba, but if they are able to source okay, source is to get the raw material from these areas and come. We don't really restrict where you do your business, but at least if you're able to get raw material from these farmers, which is providing market to their products, you bring them and process Juba. We don't have any problem with that, but at least providing market to the remote areas, and then it uses your raw material for processing your final products.
All right, Tito, how will applications be evaluated here? Then I will cross to that Safwani to also tell us whether persons with a disability or special needs are also allowed to tender in the application. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you once again. Yeah, the process of selection is as transparent as the process itself. Immediately when the deadline kissed, a panel will be set up that will comprise of WFP, Ministry of Agriculture, and Seed Grow. They will be able to evaluate all the applicants, and there will be they will just stick to the set criteria, and all the selections will be done based on the criteria. So at the end of it, it will be those who have met the set criteria that will be selected. So the panel will be set up, and that panel will be responsible for the selection of those who will benefit from this package. For people with disabilities, though my colleague will just add it up, it is a priority in this project. It is one of the top priorities. Like people with disabilities, if they apply, there is consideration that is put into their applications because this project focuses much on inclusivity. Inclusivity when it comes to youth, when it comes to women and people with disability. So I confirm.
What are those special considerations you would probably consider?
Yeah, especially the people with disabilities, if they have, if they meet this criteria, they should be considered, because if they are able now to venture into this kind of enterprises, it is very important because WFP, the Ministry of Agriculture, Seed Grow, and the UN system nowadays are focusing on how best they could ensure that disability is not inability, of which if someone is having innovative ability, should be supported. So it's making a selection of some companies that belong to people with disabilities will encourage the inclusivity.
All right. Over to you now, Fwani. Starting from that, the sitting arrangement and gender representation, it's nice. Now the question is whether women are also encouraged to apply. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. So when we talk of inclusion, so we also talk of women representation as well as minority groups. Yeah. So
do they also have a special consideration, like for people who have special need or people who have that's a disability?
Yes, because they all fall under the inclusion. We know we have very few women who are agripreneurs who are fully registered and meeting the other criteria. So we encourage them as much as possible to apply in the category as well with persons with disability, the youth, other minority groups. So all of them are encouraged to apply, and we're actually aiming for at least a 50% representation of the final, the finalists. Yeah.
Now, what is in place to make sure that women who are also in remote areas, but within the targeted areas, also get access to some of this application where there's no internet, no radio, no TV, no nothing?
Okay, so part of the dissemination that we had was through the Women's Union, which is a big umbrella for all the other minor women groups within the country and the location. And we are working closely with them to follow up on also them possibly guiding the other groups in remote areas or with restricted internet connectivity. And above all, as Monica said, also in those locations are WFP field offices. So WFP is also doing that along with us, as well as the ministry. So it's a collaborative effort to see that we have the groups the women, persons with disability, youth, and other minor groups also come up and apply here.
Thank you. Now, let's briefly talk about the real issues. Now, what support will selected business or innovators receive in return? Dr. Ayik.
Well, thank you, James. The support comes in two dimensions. One is the catalytic grant that we are giving, ranging from 10,000 to about 40,000.
Pounds or dollars?
In dollars, in US dollars.
Wow.
This will be based on the level of innovation that you're bringing in, how feasible it is, how scalable it is, and the criteria that has already been set forth. That is in terms of that particular grants. Another support that they are going to receive is through the technical support that comes in terms of trainings. They will be provided with the training based on the business that you have submitted in for. That level of innovation will be nurtured, and you will be provided with the business skills that you require to be able to nurture that particular, either through training in class or through mentorship and coaching. That is one that we are going to provide. In other form is that the initiative itself is already having a curriculum that will look at, once you submit in yours, those who will make it through on the first screening stage will be trained, and then they will be able to showcase the skill that they have. And their skills will be evaluated, and this is where we will come to the finals. Those who will reach the final stage, they will have those numbers of which they will be the first and the second to the last ones.
Yeah.
And that is how they will have the grant that they will receive based on what they have submitted and how feasible that innovation they have submitted to address the food insecurity. So that is how we are looking at. Just to maybe to iterate earlier on what my colleague said, is that in terms of transparency, is that it will be a transparent process where the donors will be there, the ministry will be there, the private sector will be there, plus the UN system. So it will be done in an open space where everybody will be given a due consideration. So anybody who will do that, as long as you have submitted both online or you have submitted a physical copy to any of the WAP office or a partner that will be able to bring the application to reach the seed grow or WAP, you will be given a due considerations. Yeah.
Monica, in practical terms, in real terms, issues to do with interest and duration sometimes discourages some of the innovators from applying. Now, in this particular grant, what are some of the interests? Is it that high, low, or it's completely zero? 2, the duration given to each innovator. Welcome.
Interest is something. Okay, I will start from the last part. Like the duration. Ideally, this project is supposed to run for a year, and within the year, we have the processes of applications and drafting the documents, which is done. And now we go to the application phase. And after the application phase, then we go to the selection. Ideally, with all the trainings in it, it's supposed to go up to December. With everything, it's a packed December of this year. Interest, it's hard to determine interest, depending. WFP interest might be to help choose the ventures, train them, because we are all contributing to the food systems and for the country. But of course, the interest of the private sector might be different. We look at it in terms of, for them, they look at profit, but we are also interested in private sectors that are more social-oriented. In a way, as we are looking at climate resilient, climate affect all of us, but then we also need that effect added on food system so that we also gain from it. That is a social venture. We are really not going to get interested in the profit that they get after that. The grant is completely free of charge. After you're given, you run your business, but we need the social effect to be reflected.
Mr. Tito, let's talk about the issue of that infrastructure. Some other locations don't have active banking system. And then how is this money really released to some of these winners?
Yeah, that question should be coming in every kind of thing that is innovative. Because of innovativeness, he is the one that is bringing that question. To be honest, there is supposed to be no any form of biasness up to the end, or which if there is a company that is selected in a rural area where there is no banking, maybe they don't have any other form of banking. I think WFP, which is the main custodian of the fund, plus the organizations that are managing this together, Ministry of Agriculture and the private partners, could sit to discuss maybe how to ensure that money could be released to this kind of a company that is in rural side, because we are encouraging the food system across the country, not in the urban areas. No, it should be across the country. So when such a case come up in the future, maybe after the selection, there will be no biasness. That company will be treated to ensure that they get what belongs to them, so that they could continue to do that innovative venture in that rural side of the country. So I believe there will not be biasness, but my colleagues could add.
Yes, Fonny, is there any other mentorship or training program to some of these innovators once if the money is officially released to them? Otherwise, business ideas sometimes it needs creativities right here and there. So tell us, and if one or two add-on points, and then we give also a chance to our patient audience to ask some of their good questions.
Okay, so mentorship will be there. It will be more related to a capacity gaps assessment for each innovator. So it's going to be tailored to what mentorship each innovator needs. And as such, at some point, there will also be a need for mentor-innovator matching to meet particular interests. So, for example, if possibly one of the innovators is into fisheries and maybe processing, then they can be aligned with a mentor who has already done this business in a while, so that they can be guided through some of the processes. So yes, it's going to be more context-oriented, specific needs, and yeah, it will cut. The plan is to have it run for 3 months, and possibly even at the final pitching stage to be able to also pitch to other investors who could be interested in that particular venture to equally also invest into your business after the whole process.
Quickly, Dr. Ika, Monica and Tito, any add-on point before we invite our audience also to ask some of their questions?
Yeah, I think just to wrap it up is that in terms of that mentorship, it will be as long as you are in programs, you will be given that mentorship. And not only mentorship, you will be also given the opportunity to link to other markets and donors that could be able to fund the idea that might have not been pitched during this process.
Right.
And that is what we can be able to.
Dear listener, let's have now our second commercial break of the show. When we come back, you can pick that cell phone and dial our studio line on 0911022986. Equally, you can send for us a text message on that's our Facebook page and SMS as well.
Are you a South Sudanese entrepreneur in agriculture or food systems? The World Food Program. Are you a South Sudanese entrepreneur in agriculture or food systems? The World Food Program, in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, AfriLabs, and Seed Grow Company Limited, invites you to apply for the Ignite Food Systems Innovation Challenge 2025. Win up to $40,000 in grants, receive expert mentorship and training, and connect with investors and policymakers. To qualify, your business must be legally registered, operating for at least 2 years, and contributing to food security or climate resilience. Women, persons with disabilities, and minority groups are strongly encouraged to apply. No application fees are required. Apply now at bit.ly/ignite-challenge and submit your documents via a shareable drive link for data protection. The deadline is 13th June 2025. For inquiries, call 0922 107667 or 0920 788816. This advert is also available on the NGO and social media platforms of WFP, AfriLabs, and Seed Grow Company Limited. Let's build a stronger, climate-resilient food system together.
Indeed, it's high time now for you to pick that cell phone and dial our studio line on 091122 986 and for us also a text message on that 0913 986 986, and my guest in the studio right here will be in position, of course, to answer some of your good questions right here. مستمعين في كل محل فرصة لك عشان تصل في 09 وايد ولا 22 986 986. لو عندك سؤال ولا تعليق لضيوف بداية في داخل الاستوديو ده بقى فرصة عليك. طبعا ده فرصة عشان كيف بقدم أوراق بتاعك وإلغا كمان أدام من منظمة بتاع WFP وكمان وزارة AfriLabs يلا سيد جرو كامباني في داخل جنوب السودان بجاي. وقروش الكمان تبيلغا ده بزاد ده دولار ودولار بس ما بيلغا ساكت إلا لو ممكن عندك كبرة بتاع زراعة ولا كبرة الكمان بيقدر يجيبوا تنمية وبيجيب تغييرات في موضوع بتاع مشاكل الجنوبين قاعدة بمر من فوقه في زمن بتاع آسا. وأنا كمان دارو زينك بستنا مكالمة بتاعكم في خط. أنا برحب كمان برضو تيتو عشان يقدم كلمة بسيط بالذات في نايا بتاع support البيزنسز بيقدر ألقى لجنوب السودان إني كله. يلا تيتو, before I invite you, let me first give a chance to this good caller. I read you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm Lado Charles from Gudele.
Lado Charles from Gudele. Question or comment?
Question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm interested in an individual aspect because you said it's only for company. Why don't you include the individual? Because I'm also interested in that program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I read you?
Yes, I read you.
Yes.
Madrama Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Ana Jimmy min Gumba Shirikat.
Marhaba, Jimmy.
The one of person with disability. Them deep bitana one sir. A program tamam kiden. Yala na marfo they already business are jais kalas wala lisa ter bada.
Just while I'll quest mon bijob.
Yala hal enkinal mustajil wala lisa.
نعم.
يا
شكرا جزيلا أخونا جيمي من الشركات وديو بتاعي في داخل الاستوديو هنا بجواب أسئلة بتاعي كله خالص. هل ده بداية ولا ده نهاية? Ladu is saying yes, I think let me first talk to Joseph. I read you.
Yeah,
yes, Joseph. كيف لبنان؟ مرحبا. أسأل سؤال بتاعك الجميل ده للضيوف بتاعي في داخل الاستوديو.
أنا بدي شكرا شديد للضيوف بتاعنا المنجب مهم شديد. أنا الجنوبيين أنا لباسنا كبرت زراعة وجد بشكل كده ده حاجة البودي أنا بكون مرتاحين.
بعرف حماسة.
كان في بتاعنا ده تمام كده. عندنا فرق عليه. أصلا ده zaman tahanan ma galo ana bikin galo bakar kida okwes lakin fi zaman tajo tan hal kana je derlo security quest o jo bikun quest lakin asare kanjol jaro aden o baden jol majara fi fil yan kanta insecurity umma be jas sijinu jol liado de haja kaman dal kedo photograph dan no anna dina jibin na derin hajjal lakin hajjal marad al bik duko fanna de dan o haya de muhim lakin under killingan de so altene nas tan video bino asa kan al bi fata dokal isa fi insecurity al bora fi zera isa fi insecurity dalam sunah baden do yani ana majara farla jalanu fi al making mahallin insecurity أنتم جا عريس أنا.
نعم شكرا جزيلا. Hi radio. Chance for one lucky caller because of time on 0911022986. Joseph from Lobonok is raising the issue of insecurity and releasing money to someone at this critical time. What if anything happened? Hi radio. All right, let me now give chance, of course, to my esteemed guest in the studio right here to answer to some of your good questions right here. Let me start with you, Dr. Tito. Ayik.
Yeah, thank you, James. Where the first person is asking on whether could be individuals rather than being a company registered. The aspect of having it as a company is based on the criteria that with the company you can be able to have many people as beneficiaries of the same, and the output will be more in that particular purpose. So if we have as an individual, it will take time to be able to employ many people, and it will take time to be able to yield to a bigger result that will serve many people. But with an existing company, we off that company is already running since it has been running for at least 2 years, and within the last 2 years it is able to take employment into account where people with the special needs are part of that team. Women are part of that teams, and as well as youth are part of that teams. So we are looking at where that idea that you're bringing to us is already being implemented and it is on progress. We are scaling it up to a bigger stage, and that is why we prefer a company rather than individuals.
All right. Over to you, Sarah.
So on the second question of the person from Gumbo,
exactly.
on persons with disability, one of the criteria is you should be in existence for 2 years. So if it's still an idea, would encourage the person to first cook the idea and build it up, because part of the things we are looking at is also scalability, meaning you should be in existence and how best can you now make it bigger. Yeah, so it's not. It's still not a period for the ideas to be brought on board. It's more of what are you already doing, and which support do you need to boost up your venture and innovation.
All right. Yeah. Monica, one of our callers, asking whether this program is starting or it's ending. Where exactly are we?
This program, we are on the starting point. The starting point is from the application. So we are still, that's why we are saying the deadline is still on the 13th, which means he can still apply. There's still an opportunity for him to apply. And to answer the third person, he was asking if the business should be registered or not. This for the sense of accountability as a good citizen. The business has to be registered, and without the registration we may not be able to, for the sake of trust also, the mutual trust between us, the government and you. And I think the business needs to be registered for it to be vetted.
Okay. Joseph from Lobanok Tito is so concerned about the security situation in the country that it's a good initiative, but take a look at what's happening in some parts of the country. What if anything happened and you lose that money? Are you not going to arrest, for example, a person like him? Welcome.
First, I want to appreciate Joseph. He's honest South Sudanese. He has raised a very practical point. He's too concerned maybe if someone could be given this money and maybe end up eating it, then will that person not be arrested? So I just appreciate him. He's honest South Sudanese. But to be truthful here, we do admit, yes, there are cases of insecurity across the country, but we all know the country is not homogeneous when it comes to security. Like the states that are selected, big parts of those areas are too secure to do farming. For example, in Eastern Equatoria, Central Equatoria, Western Equatoria, Western Barizal, Northern Barizal, Warab, Jonglei, you could be able to do agriculture there. So I believe his concern could not be so much of issue now because it is a company. If company can exist for the last 2 years, it is a company that need to grow. And that is why there are some criteria that will be used for selection. So the ones that we will select here are those that are interested to grow. Young people across this country, plus women, have been crying for opportunities to employ themselves, to employ others, of which if they have struggled to have their companies operating for 2 years, if this money is given to them will be a boost, and that boost will be of interest to them to grow. So there will be no person that will be in a position to eat this money, leave alone even the ministry coming in now to use force to arrest somebody. So I believe this will go to those who want to grow.
All right. Because of time, I would love us really to extend this show even for 2 hours. But again, time would not allow it. Now, Abu Joshua from That's Wow, thank you so much for following us and for dropping also your comment via our Facebook page. Ring, thank you from That's Western Barakazan. And then Thiep also watching us from That's Gokrial. Thank you, Malwal Abol. Thank you so much. And all of you have taken your humble time to listen to this show. Meanwhile, those who are still calling, but because of time, I really apologize. Now, 30 seconds each. Starting from that for Nisara, give your final remarks as we have officially come to the end of this very conversation.
I would say one additional remark. So the release of the funds will not be like once at a go. It will be based on certain milestones that the innovator has to hit. So if that's how it's going to be. So if you have a particular milestone set on your proposal or pitch, if you hit it, you get part of it until the end of the entire amount that you are entitled to.
All right. Over to you, Dr. Ayik.
Yeah, just as a final remark is to let the South Sudanese know that we have the talent in the country, and that talent can be demonstrated in this particular challenge that we have to submit in your applications, and the ideas will be evaluated by the team that will be selected to do the process. So without the fear, let all submit in our application across the country and allow the team to have the time to look into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Monica Lomoy, welcome.
Thank you. I would say the process is very transparent. First, we are not going to give it like a loan. that should be removed from the minds of people. It's a equity grant free. It's not a loan. And before you're given the grant, a due diligence, a thorough due diligence is carried out on the company that is applying for you to be given the grant. So we encourage young people, we encourage women, we encourage South Sudanese to apply. Let's contribute together to fight food insecurity. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, to that's Tito Awienbol.
My final remarks. First, I want to say to South Sudanese, and most specifically to youth and women, that this is the opportunity you have been asking for, that you want to self-employ, you want to employ others, you want to venture into business. Agriculture had not been taken as business all along, but now you have seen that agriculture is business, and it is predicted that the next billionaires in Africa will come from agriculture. I believe the few of you who will win this one will be the next millionaires of our country. So take this as an opportunity to save the country. Take this as opportunity to solve the issue of food insecurity, because nowadays that the world is focusing on food system, be the contributing factor to the food system so that we can achieve food security. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Up to here, there's also one person I would like in a special way to appreciate. That's Francis Obudra. You are supposed to be here, but for the sake of that gender equality, you decided, of course, to exclude yourself. Thank you so much for that. Then the Ministry of that Agriculture, Seed Grow, AfriLabs, Ignite, and all other entities that have contributed and given for us this business, we would like to thank you. With that, we have come to the end of this discussion. And South Sudanese, please use this golden opportunity, apply and invest in your business.
شكرا لكم مستمعين الكرام.